Hi everyone, Coach B here from the Fraud Prevention Collective. And today I want to speak with you. If you are a business owner, I want to speak with you. In the last couple of weeks, I've seen so many posts by business owners who have been defrauded. And you can feel people's pains. They're crying, they're saddened, they're agonizing, and their stuff have been stolen. And we're not just talking about just a couple of hundreds of thousands, we're talking millions. I saw goods that were stolen and kept. And the business owner was saying, look, I don't even use this. I don't even use this particular product. And so I thought to do this video and share with business owners at least 5 things that you can start to do within your business to prevent fraud. Now, these 5 things are not mutually exclusive of one another. If you're going to prevent theft, fraud in your business, you're going to have to do them together. You're going to have to do them together. You're going to have to do them together. So the problem and the mistake that I see that some business owners have made is that they would have one measure in place and they won't have the other one. Or they will have one measure in place, but they won't monitor it. So it's not just putting those measures in place, it's also the monitoring of them. So let me give you an example. There was a business owner who said, I had a security man in the building, but when I queried him, he said to me that the staff member who defrauded me would typically say, oh, I have the boss's permission to get these items out of the store, or these are online orders that I need to go and deliver. And so she had that physical security person to prevent theft, but the person was not adequately trained to ask for a receipt signed by the boss, to call, to have his own line directly to the boss to call and confirm that this and these items were taken out of here with this receipts today. So sometimes you have those measures in place, but there's a lack of training to ensure that they work the way they should work, or there is a lack of ongoing monitoring. So that's an example right there. Now, these 5 things, if you do them, I can promise you that you will largely reduce or even totally eradicate fraud within your business. Before I go into the 5 things, again, I want you to do this for me. And this is a service that we offer and we can come into your business to do for you as well. Look at all of the components of your business, everything that ensures that your business runs, and then start to check and say, what is working? What isn't working currently? Where are the areas that have been defrauded in the past? And what measures have I put in place to prevent such again in future? Where are the areas that people who run my kind of business have been defrauded in the past? And what measures should they or did they put in place, or should I put in place to ensure that I don't fall victim to the same kind of frauds that they fell victim to? So do that for me, and you will see that already the red flags within your business will become apparent to you. So having said that, let's then go into our 5 things. Okay, so the first one for me would be, and I know you know this, have a surveillance system in place within your business. So have your CCTV in place. And again, people who have been defrauded will say to you, oh, I had it in place, but my staff members would always disconnect it, or they would disconnect the Wi-Fi, or they will remove the wire for the CCTV. If you put your foot on the ground and you penalize this action, where if, for instance, for the whole week, the CCTV was on for just 50% of the time, and you penalize that action, or you withhold a positive reinforcement because of that negative behavior, then they will see that you mean business. All right? So you have to encourage what you want to see and discourage what you don't want to see. But if they tried the first time and you ask, why was the CCTV off? Oh, the Wi-Fi wasn't working. and you don't come back to say, I'm not going to take that. This must not be unplugged. If the Wi-Fi isn't working, you let me know immediately and let's fix this. And I know that I'm speaking mostly to sole proprietors, small business owners, but my heart is with you. So let's have this conversation. So insist on the things you want to see. There's no way the Wi-Fi can be off consistently every day, every other day. There's no way that is happening. The internet service providers, change the one you're using if you have to, or just keep insisting that this cannot, I would not take this, this can never be off. Also, you may want to explore CCTV cameras that are spy cameras from time to time. So there are cameras that are as tiny as sometimes even almost like a dot or a pin, and you can just put it somewhere in your store, and they don't know that it's there. So you have to have a surveillance system that is technology enabled within your premises. It should cover entrances, it should cover exits, it should cover your storage areas, your warehouses. It should cover your sales point to monitor the staff and the customer and to deter and prevent pilferage. Okay, because I know many times everybody's talking about coming out to talk about their staff members who stole from them, but sometimes your customers are actually pilfering as well, or non-customers that pretend to be customers. So you want to ensure that your surveillance system is top notch. The second thing that you must do alongside the first, remember I said they're not mutually exclusive. So you can't say, oh, I have CCTV in the shop and you just stop at that. No, you have to monitor the CCTV. You have to make sure it's working. Somebody has to check at the end of each week or each month or every other day to actually see what has happened on the CCTV recordings. Okay, so the second thing that you have to pay attention to and lock down is your inventory and sales tracking system. You have to use a software to record every sale, to record your stock movement, to balance your inventory. Okay, nothing should leave the store. Nothing should leave the store unless it has been logged. Nothing should be taken out unless it is logged that it was taken out. Nothing should be exchanged. Nothing should be brought in unless it is logged. So you have to have an adequate system, software, technology enabled that helps you to monitor your inventory. Okay. And again, this is also something you have to have your eyes on. Delegating is eyes on, even if hands are off. There are areas within your software that are exclusive to you or to your external auditors, some to your internal auditors. Everyone who has a need to use the software should have their authorizations. They should have the areas that they're limited or restricted to based on their job functions and their roles. And passwords should be protected. So a staff member should not have access to the password of another staff member. If everybody is using the same point of sale, the same cash register, or everybody is using the same laptop to log in and perform their functions, don't save passwords on the laptop. Because if a person has access to control what comes in as inventory, and the same person is able to gain the password of a colleague to control what goes out as sales, then they can manipulate the numbers. They can manipulate the system, they can manipulate the numbers. Okay? So, your software management, your sales tracking systems, your inventory tracking systems has to be not just perfect, but perfectly utilized. The third one is something that I referenced earlier, and it is about your physical security checks. And this is a human control because, I'm not sure I mentioned this earlier, but you're going to have human controls, you're going to have technology controls, non-human controls. And so, physical security checks is a human control where you put a staff member, a security person, at the entrance of the store and they ensure that nothing passes through that door unless it has been paid for. Unless it has been paid for. So there must be back checks for staff members and for customers. What did you buy? Can I see your receipt? Count the items on the receipt, count the items in the bag, understand how items are to be counted. And they should have a certain level of knowledge. Because one thing that I've also noticed is that many people will just employ a random person who actually cannot perform the services of security. They will just employ a random person. Your security man must be able, or woman must be able to, at the very minimum, check how many items are in the bag, how many items are on the receipt, and they have to be able to know if it says a single item on the receipt, but in the box there's a pack of 4 that is in a box of 1. So we have to normalize teaching the security people a part of the job that enables them to do their job well. Okay? They have to have recognize the boss's signature, the CEO signature, or maybe it's the CFO or whoever it is that is going to sign off alongside the sales staff on items that have been taken out of the premises for online delivery, okay, for e-commerce sales. They have to see multiple layers of approval. They have to recognize the signature. They have to be able to again count the items and know if this looks funny or not. In fact, there should be a copy. There should be multiple copies of those kind of documents and receipts, invoices, where they keep a copy of their own, so that when your auditors want to perform their audit, they collect all the receipts with the security, they collect all the receipts at the point of sale and compare. All right. Another thing that I need to mention before we leave physical security checks is that you need to walk around your business premises. And again, I'm really speaking to micro business owners, especially the places where you keep your stock, your warehouses, even your sales places. You want to walk around the premises, ensure that there are no windows that can just be opened and goods are tossed out of the premises. Ensure that your fences are not in a way, are not constructed in a way that people can just toss goods off the fence into the next building where their friend is waiting to pick your goods. I know businesses that have been crippled just because staff members were able to toss substantial products, raw materials over the fence to their waiting accomplices who then cut it off the premises. And there were staff members who opened businesses from the things they stole from their employers with this method. So you want to sometimes just randomly walk around go outside your gate, check what the next premise looks like, check what the other adjoining premises look like, check what the back of your property looks like. Have your security man just walk around from time to time, let them patrol the area. Okay, so I would say that about the physical security checks. The fourth thing, we have 5 things that we're going to talk about today. The fourth thing is tagging and access control. Use security tags, use barcodes, use lock systems, so that items that have not been paid for are not taken out of the premises. When you go to big stores, you see that they've tagged items and they have those security bars at the entrance. If anyone is going out of the store with an item that has not been paid for, they start hearing that beeping sound, which shows that there's something in that bag that has not been paid for. So if your business can afford it, and if your business sells items that are, able to take those tags, then you want to invest in them and put them on your goods and on your products. Okay? Unprocessed items should never, for any reason, be easily removable from your premises. Okay? Now, the fifth one is operational controls, and these are structural controls. These are things that you must do consistently to enable the four measures that we mentioned earlier, to enable them effectively function. So, for operational controls, you will have things like stock taking, regular stock taking, regular stock reconciliation, and sometimes, not even sometimes, every time, ensure that the person who sits at the point of sale selling out the product, who stays with the product all day, is not the same person who is conducting your stock taking. Because if they knew that they stole 10 items during the week and on Sunday or Saturday they wanted to conduct stock taking, they're just going to put that 10 and it's going to look like the stock is complete. They're just going to add the number, but physically there's inventory shrinkage. The inventory has left the premises, but on your inventory report you will still be seeing those items. So you want to make sure there's adequate separation of duties, where the staff who is in charge of inventory is not the same person that is taking the inventory. Separate duties. Those who record the stocks should not be the ones who release it. Those who receive it should not be the ones who release it. And I know that for many small businesses, you don't even have more than 2 staff members or one person. So you have to then utilize measures like having external people come take your stock. If you have, in fact, sometimes if you have a sibling, you have a friend, you have a you have someone who can just come into the store, who is an independent party. You pay them for that day, they come into your store, they take the stocks, and tell them if they're counting boxes, they should open the boxes. Because there have been instances, even in large organizations, where people put stones in boxes to make them look heavy and full, but they've removed the actual product. There's been instances where people will take 10 out of the 20 products within a carton, but it feels like there's still items within it, but the items have reduced. So you want to train them again before you get them to do this, or get experts, get people who are actually trained, people who are accountants, who can actually look out for these issues when taking stock within your business. Get fraud examiners. I can recommend, this is also a service that we offer at the Fraud Prevention Collective. Check that your goods and complete stock taking must be regularly performed to ensure that there is zero pilferage within your business. Okay, I think for me, those will be the 5 major things that you have to monitor within your business. Those will be the 5 measures that if you take them today, I can assure you that your business will be safeguarded from fraud. Is this list, all exhaustive? Is it everything that you need to do? No. But start with these 5 things, especially as a small or micro business. Start with these 5 things and don't just do 2 of them and say, I've done 2, let me leave the 3. No, do all 5. If you can't do all 5, I think the most difficult one will be the one where we say have codes, have security tags on your items. So maybe you can't access security tags right now, but you can have barcodes. You can code each item within the store. All right, you can number each item. So we have 50 of this, we have 60 of that. And when inventory is taken, if it's now saying it's 20, how many did we sell? So you want to compare all of your numbers and ensure that your numbers are complete. Okay, and if they're not, you want to identify this quickly enough. If you catch it early enough and you put a stamp down on it, you lock it down and stop it, then what you stand to lose will not be as much as if it's been going on for, say, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year even. Okay, so I trust that this has been a helpful resource for you and been worthwhile for the time spent. For more informations like this, for more educational stuff that can help you to prevent fraud, theft, privilege within your business, you can follow us on the Fraud Prevention Collective pages on our social media platforms, and you can send us a DM. We're happy to answer your questions and your inquiries. My name is Bukola Ogunwale. My clients call me Coach B, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Fraud Prevention Collective. Okay, bye for now.